Hello friends, I am B. Singh, Chairman and Managing Director, MEDIG Group. This institute started 20 years back. In the journey of 20 years, we have seen the percentage selections in IES from MEDIG have increased from 5% to 95%. Out of 195 students are the part of MEDIG in one or the other courses. UPSC has conducted the Engineering Services Examination 2019 recently and the mains exam is just completed. Today, we would like to analyze the papers of the mains examination, the difficulty level, pattern of questions, the nature of questions, the probable cutoff and the chances of the selections, all these things. MEDIG is the institute which believes in the quality guidance and by the quality people. Today with me is entire electronics and telecommunication team, teaching team, that is faculty team. Some of the members are not present because they are engaged in the classes and not available in Delhi. So one by one paper, the first I take the paper 1, electronics and telecommunication. Before we start the discussion, I would also like to share last year in 2018 result in electronics, the cutoff for the interview call for general category was 504 marks. For OBC, it was 476. For SC, it was 405. And for ST category, it was 403 marks. The nature of the questions this year as compared to last year is plus minus 5%. There is no much deviation. In case you are expecting your performance and your marks somewhere in the range of 500 to 510 or 515, you may expect your interview call. And once you are expecting your interview call, you can plan for the next stage preparation of the interview. And toppers marks, if I see what were the first ranker marks of the last year in the prelims and mains, it was 610. And when I see the 27th ranker, it was around 600. And the last cutoff, it was, as I discussed, 504. So 500 to 600, this is the general performance of students in the prelims plus mains. If you are scoring somewhere in the range of 500 to 600 or even more than 600, definitely you are going to be in top ranks. So, first subject which I start with the electronics is the network theory part of the paper 1. And this is the area which has been asked of 112 marks this year. Mr. K. Kiran Kumar, Mr. Y. Naresh and Mr. Aditya Kanwal have been teaching this subject. And Kiran, I would like to know your opinion on this.
This year, from network analysis, total number of marks they asked is 112. When compared to last year, they increased the number of marks for this subject. Now, if you come to the marks distribution here, now from the theorems, they asked for 4 questions. Out of the 4 questions, one question they asked from superposition theorem. It is a very easy question. And from maximum power the transfer theorem, they asked 1 question. Now, you can see there is a moderate level. In that one, half of the question they can easily do it, but rest of the half of the question the student has to think very carefully. And the 2 questions are given, they asked from Thevenin's theorem, they can easily do it. The students who appeared this regular class and main class, they can easily do it. And second one is from steady state ESE circle, they asked 3 questions. Out of 3 questions, 2 questions are moderate level, one is a difficult question. And the good thing for middle students is the same difficult question discussed in the class. Even numerical values also not changed. Exactly same question asked in the exam. And this year they asked for less number of questions from transients. Generally we expect the more number of questions from transients, but they reduced the weightage for the transients. And the 1 question from magnetic circuits, 1 question from basics. Those questions are also very easy. My opinion is those who appeared for these classes, they can easily score the 100% marks in this subject.
Electronic devices and circuits has been always a basic and fundamental subject of the electronics. Although this year the weightage of this subject reduced, but this is the part and parcel of the UPSC exams. The subject is being taught by the very experienced faculty at MEDIG. We have with us Mr. Rajendra Kumar, and also the subject in some outside centers is being taken by the Mr. Ramesh. So Rajendra Kumar ji, what is your opinion on this year's subject?
Yeah. The EDC subject this year we got less number of marks when compared to the last year. So this year we got only the 3 questions. In that 2 questions are from derivations. The first derivation says calculate the temperature at which the silicon semiconductor will behave as a metal. This is no doubt is a easy derivation and one can easily do it. And the second derivation which was asked, find the reverse saturation current doubles for every 10 degrees centigrade. This derivation is little bit of complicated and slightly a tough question only. And one 10 marks question came on a problem based on Fermi levels. That was an easy question. So seeing that one, the paper was slightly average in my subject.
Right. Analog electronics and electronic devices and circuits, both subjects are overlapping, and this year we have seen though EDC was less, but the analog was 121 marks. And the same was the situation last year, 124 marks. This subject makes the paper one basic and core subject. So Iftikhar and Rajkumar and Mr. Trinath Reddy taking this subject, and Iftikhar is with me, analog. So Iftikhar, what is your opinion, this very important subject for students?
Analog circuits have been always one of the important subjects in the UPSC paper, and this year also there have been questions of about 120 marks, just like last year. Now if you look at the questions which are being asked, this UPSC paper has covered like almost all topics of analog circuits. So one thing is very clear, when student is preparing for this subject, you have to prepare it thoroughly. You cannot skip a few topics thinking that they are not important. So that mistake should not be committed by students. You should prepare all the topics thoroughly. This year, there have been two questions from the diode topic. One question was about the small signal model of diode. Some diode circuit was given and you were asked to calculate cutoff frequency in the diode circuit. And that question will be attempted by replacing diode with its small signal equivalent. And there was one more question on bridge rectifier with a capacitor filter. So rectifiers have always been one of the frequently asked topics in analog circuits in the UPSC paper. And this year also, the question was about bridge rectifier with capacitor filter, and you were asked to calculate the value of capacitance. But the adequate data was not provided here, so students were supposed to make a few assumptions like assume ripple voltage value and transformer turns ratio, you can take it as 1:1. This kind of assumption students are supposed to make. These are like practical considerations. What I found is this year's paper, questions were from practical orientation. So students need to have a bit of practical viewpoint also about these analog circuits. Then there were two questions from the BJT topic. One was about DC analysis. It was related to region of operation. One resistance was to be calculated so that BJT never goes into saturation. It was easy question. It was doable. And there was one more question which was like again a little practical oriented question. Signal received from antenna was given to some booster. The booster is nothing but amplifier, and you were asked to find what is dominant pole frequency. Now it comes under high frequency analysis of the BJT, and I believe the students who attended the course at ESE must have done this question quite easily. And then there were two questions from feedback amplifiers. Now this is another area which is frequently asked in the UPSC paper, feedback amplifiers. One was a quite easy question. It was about bandwidth and gain relation. And there was one more question on voltage shunt feedback. And students were asked to analyze the circuit and obtain voltage gain in the circuit. It was again doable, especially those students who attended the mains batch at ESE must have done this question. And then there was one question on differential amplifier basics. It was about calculation of output voltage for two sets of inputs. And it was of easy level, not too difficult. Then there were two questions on op-amp. One question was just based on op-amp, and the other one was combined with MOSFET. It was like a combination of MOSFET and op-amp. And in that question, students were supposed to do a bit of small signal analysis and also a bit of DC analysis. And it was of like moderate difficulty level. So overall, if you look at all the questions from analog circuits, most of them were easy, and a couple of them were like of moderate difficulty level. And students who prepared all the topics of analog circuits must have done really well in this subject.
In 2017, the syllabus of engineering services changed and three new subjects were added. Basic electrical engineering, then advanced communication and advanced electronics. And one subject which was removed was the microwave engineering. The basic electrical engineering is a part of paper 1 which was asked this year of 20 marks, and the subject is being taken by the Mr. Rajan Rao. And we have apart from Rajan, this subject is also taken by Mr. K. Kiran Kumar. So Rajan, what is your opinion on the basic electrical engineering?
Sir, as basic electrical engineering is like a peripheral subject for EC people, and this is the main subject of electrical engineering. So normally, what EC students think this is the toughest subject, but in class also I told so many times, and also as this is a main subject of electrical engineering and this is basic electrical for EC people, so there will be some easier portion which will be included in exam normally, and that happens in 2018 also. It is 24 marks and very simple questions related to the construction and the numerical related to that were there. And in this year also, there is a DC machine questions which was directly I taught in men's class. Even numerical is same, word by word, everything is same. So such questions are very useful when we are going to select a problem, and there is a basic electrical problem which is going to complement that question. If we are not, we have not attended those things, then entire problem we have to just give up. So that this basic electrical engineering part is, I think, important, but it is easier portion.
What matters in the performance is that the selection of questions, because one question may have the several sub questions, and one question is from one subject, the second is from the other subject. You cannot afford to drop any area or any subject. You never know which will be mixed with which other subject. This is the first part. So when you select a question, these out of 8 I have to attempt these 5, this selection makes a difference. And once you have given a lot of tests, you have appeared in the test series, you have gone through this process, then you become familiar to this process. So this I will advise the students who are preparing for the next year. Do write the test series, and MEDG test series is one which is very close to the pattern and standard of the examination. The next subject is digital circuits. Digital circuits being taught in MEDG by the Rajarao Sastri, also taught by Mr. Dhananjay, and also taught by Mr. Vibhav and B. Srinivas. So Rajarao, what is your opinion on it?
Digital is a very preferred and scoring subject. Generally for EC, the topic is moderately tough and moderately is not very tough. So generally questions are asked from sequential circuits, but this time there is no question from sequential circuits. He directly asked a simple CMOS implementation. That's already there in the notes, and we also given the question in the test series. It's also there in the workbook as well. Same question has come. Next, one more question has come on the analog to digital converter. Again, it's a formula based question. He just asked, the question was slightly linked to communication. Since AC students anyways read communication, so it will be easy, he may answer. It's a formula based question. But one tough question has come on data acquisition system. It was slightly theoretical, but the general block diagram is anyways explained in the class, so student will be able to answer the question. The weightage was only 25 marks. Last year it was 27, but the more or less difficulty level was similar, but this time it didn't give sequential circuits.
Right. The next subject of the paper 1, that is the material science. Again, a theoretical subject, and students, those who have a good writing skill, they take an advantage. If you write the answer beautifully and make your presentation in a better way, and you describe properly, means if an answer carry your all 3 components, introductory part, main features, and the conclusion, and in some cases point-wise presentation may be better, but in many cases you will see the question requires paragraphic presentation. So this is what we have to judge. Material science is important because 84 marks is the one of the 4th highest in paper 1, and usually students ignore. This year exceptional percentage weightage of this subject. So subject is being taken by Mr. Ramesh, also taken by Mr. Rohit Tripathi, Mr. Kumar. So Mr. Kumar, what is your opinion on it?
Sir, actually, this time material science, last time they were 39 marks. This time almost double the number of marks. And they have covered all the topics. And they gave this time 40 extra marks. So those questions were based on all applications. Students are little bit uncomfortable in solving that type of questions. But in the classes they were discussed clearly. And first question was line imperfection and how that line imperfection changes the properties of the metals. So these questions discussed in the classes. And second one was based on principles of nanomagnetism. This is also generally nanomaterials newly introduced in the material science. generally they were not asking questions on nanomaterials. Now slowly they are increasing the number of marks in nanomaterials, and these were discussed in the classes. And the third one is also application oriented, that is classification of insulating materials based on temperature applications. And fourth question, high temperature superconductors. That means that these 4 questions, almost 40 marks, all were application oriented. All the questions were discussed in the classes. Generally, students cannot write these answers to these questions in appropriate way, but who attend the classes, they can answer these questions. In my view, these 4 questions were little difficult for the students, but who attend the classes regularly, they can solve. Rest of the questions were easy, and any student can solve easily who attend the classes are made easy. And some of the questions were discussed in the conventional classes also. And other questions were all standard questions. And how can one change the properties of the ceramic material? And those were discussed in the classes. And another question was standard question, discuss the types of polarization in the dielectric materials. And next question is, what is the difference between ceramics and the fiber reinforced composites?
Electronic measurement and instrumentation is the subject which again is important for the mains examination, and we have seen right from the past years. The subject is being taken by the Mr. Raghavendra Kulkarni, and also this subject is being chaired in some of the centers by Mr. Raju and taken by the Balaji sir. So Raghavendra ji, your opinion as an expert to this field, what would you like to say?
It has been seen that there has taken a small fundamental shift in this subject with respect to electrical and electronics. Generally, electrical was more theoretical and electronics used to be more numerical. Last 2 years, we have seen this shift taking place. Quite a few number of questions were theoretical this time. As far as marks and weightages are concerned, I don't think there was a major difference between the weightages of last year and this year. Last year, we had somewhere around 10.86, and this year we have around 9.8, with 96 marks worth of questions being asked this year. Looking at the questions in detail, most of the questions were quite basic. Question 1D was basically a question which was asked based on definitions and units and measurements. Definitions are generally covered over the entire classroom, so I don't think there should have been any difficulty answering this question at all. Question 2C, which was asked for 20 marks, one part of the question was about the signal conditioning requirements for strain gauges. Here, generally, people will sit down in the class while studying strain gauges. We talk about the application of Wheatstone's bridge in terms of the deflection type and null deflection type. I don't think since it was asked for 10 marks, I don't think you need to actually write it in detail. Just explain what how the deflection and null deflection takes place. And the second part of the question talks about the errors due to temperature in strain gauges. Here you should not only be talking about the errors, you should also be talking about the compensation in terms of the various configurations of the Wheatstone's bridge we use, that is the half bridge, quarter bridge, and the full bridge configuration. The second part of question was a direct substitution which is done in the class as a part of prelims as well as mains preparation, it was basically a numerical which you needed to substitute values directly. The question that would be of interest would be 3C, because first part of the question was a complete out of the box question where he asked about how can you detect the proximity of an object. This was relatively quite a tough question. Then the second part, which was again a simple substitution of measurable acceleration and natural frequency. Then coming to 4C, elements of a generalized data acquisition system, as sir was telling, it was direct from what is discussed in the class, and it has been quite properly given in our theory book. And the other question which came tough in this subject was the operation of a force balance current telemetering system. But students who read A.K. Sahani, there is it was just lifted from the book and asked in the question paper. In section B, 5A1 and 5A2 were directly straightforward questions which were discussed in the class. These were really short questions, 6 plus 6 marks and a straightforward numerical. Whereas question 5C, which was asked for 12 marks, here a student has to be careful because this question basically contained 3 components. If you look at the question, the second component is where students generally tend to focus more because it was a numerical and it's easy. But you also have to understand that this would be a 1 mark question in any PSU or your GATE examination. The first part of the question was basically going to take large number of marks. In my view, out of the 12, the first part would take 8, where you will have to actually talk about the complete ammeter and voltmeter designs. And this was not only discussed in the class, I think in the theory book also it is given very well.
MADE has prepared the detailed solutions of the paper 1 and paper 2 of all the 4 branches, and these are available in MADE website. Students who have faced the engineering services means they can go through these solutions, they can check their performance, and those who are planning to write next year, they can also go through because you will find the questions also and the solutions also of the last exam of this latest examination. We have clearly mentioned the source of each question from the MADE, including our theory book, workbook, question number, page number, and also the test series, which question from which test, and also the snapshots of the class notes teaching, which gives an idea of how we have covered in the classes and how the material has been comprehensive, which helps the students in the mains examination. After going through, you will find the coverage of the MADE has been sufficient and almost complete for the examination, and the students may not be required to read any other source of the material. So this is something which makes this institute different, because this institute is being developed and guided, and the study material is being framed by the all experts of the subject, and they have the teaching experience of the 15 to 20 years each. This is something which is exceptional and different from the other institute. Coming into the paper 2, before the paper 2, I would also like to share one thing, because many students have been requesting us. We want support for the general studies and engineering aptitude paper who are working outside Delhi and they are unable to attend the classes, and they are in public sectors after the GATE examination. They have not been focused for the GS paper. So for the general studies and engineering aptitude paper 1, which is a part of prelims, we are launching first time online live classes. Yes, you can log on to the MADE website. From mid of August, we will be starting the online live classes. Second paper is again taking one by one subject. Control system, the subject which is always important and very scoring. Every year we have seen has been taught in the MADE by the Mr. Hanif Sahib, and also being taught by the Mr. Sai Krishna and Aditya Kanwal. I have with me to discuss the prospects of this subject by the Mr. Hanif. What is your opinion?
Yes. Sir, as I said, control system is very scoring, and additionally it saves a lot of time. Most of the questions will be from the numeric, and there will be, all of them are well covered in the class, so it will be highly scoring for the students, and also time saving. That's the second another important thing about the subject. Last year, 60 marks were asked from this subject, and this year 72 marks, so considerably high number of marks, like another 12 marks. And the questions are again moving to some of the rarely asked topics. Particularly, question came from performance index like integral square error, where we usually don't discuss that things because they're very rarely asked questions, but this is very much present in the MADE theory book. The same question is present in the MADE theory book regarding the performance index. So the students who have gone through that might have definitely taken care of that, but that can be direct still. And a question from the state variables, checking the controllability and observability, which happens to be a favorite question of the examiner. Like almost every time when the question comes from state variables, it comes from this topic, controllability and observability. And this question is solved in the class as well and present in the test series. And the question from the root locus, the exact question, it is very much present in the test series and also dealt in the classroom. The question for 10 marks regarding the root locus. The same thing we have dealt with, so students must be very happy looking at this question. And a question from the time response analysis came to find the steady state error and to find the overshoot, which is a similar question, may not be the exact, but different values are present in the notes and dealt in the classroom and present in the MADE materials. So overall, it was easy to moderate level, and students of MADE who attended regular and main course would have definitely solved all these questions and might have got complete marks.
We have seen every year students who have been intended to write the mains examination, they are advised to follow the civil services question papers also. Electrical engineering salt papers are useful for the electronics as well as electrical both. If you want to practice more questions, similarly for the prelims also, previous civil services prelims questions, which is no more in the part as the part of levels, but those old questions of 2001 to 2010 are available by the MEDG publications. So those questions are quite useful for the prelims and mains papers of the civil services for the mains of engineering services. Apart from that, MEDG has come out with beautifully framed workbook and the practice book for the mains examination of engineering services, which is available. Now the next subject is communication systems, which is again an essence of the electronics engineering being taught by the Mr. T. Naresh Reddy, Mr. Naveen Kumar and Mr. Vijay Garg. And this is the subject which is again a very fundamental subject for the interview stage, and students who are going to face the interview, they are probably going to be asked some questions from this subject. We have with us Mr. Free Nivas, who is an expert of this subject today. So what is your opinion on this subject?
Yes, sir. Coming to the weightage of communication systems, last year they have given a weightage of 75 marks, and this year they have given a weightage of 80 marks. So more or less a balanced weightage is there compared to last year. Coming to the questions one by one, they have given a simple question on quadrature carrier multiplexing, which is very easy. They have asked two parts. One is to generate the quadrature carrier multiplexer signal, and two, how we will demultiplex the quadrature carrier multiplexer signal. So this is very easy question, and we have already covered this question in the classroom as well as in the test series many times. And one more question they have asked on probability of error calculation of in-phase channel and quadrature phase channel carrier multiplexing type of signal. This is a little bit logical, but not very tough type of question, but a little bit logical. If students know that logic, then they can do it very easily. And I have given one question in test series in both 2018 and 19 in the mains test series, how we will demodulate the signal of QPSK, which is also a quadrature carrier multiplexing signal, multiplexing type of signal. And in that question also we asked to derive the probability of error of the QPSK, which is same as of this logic. If the student know that question, then definitely they might know this logic and they will easily solve this question. And one question they have given on Huffman coding by moving the combined symbol as low as possible. And we have given a question on the test, many questions we have given on Huffman coding, but one question we specially given in two parts, one part by moving as high as possible and by moving as low as possible. So we have covered both the models in the test series, and they have given one model here, which is very easy and which is very short. It will take very less time to cover in the examination also. And one question they have given on the signal to quantization noise ratio. And again, only one logic student have to know how to calculate the signal power. And the same question I have given in the GATE test series of 2018, which is very easy question. And one question they have given on PCM channel capacity and TDM combination for 10 marks, and which is a very easy question. So compared to the last year and this year paper of communication systems is very easy. This year questions of communication systems is very easy compared to last year. Last year they have given, they have gone to some odd areas like processing gain of DPCM and different types of questions which never asked previously. But this year questions are very easy in communication systems, and MEDG students who gone through the test series and classes will get so much advantage of doing these questions very quickly compared to other students.
Yeah, you are rightly said. Last year, the papers of electronics as well as electrical engineering both were unpredictable, and many areas which were offshoot areas and unconventional and rarely asked areas they touched. But this year, relatively, they have been streamlined and mostly conventional topics have been asked which are important. Electromagnetics, what is your opinion? Because this is the subject taught by the VSR Suresh and Mr. Kumar. So, Kumar, what is your opinion?
Sir, last time they asked for 92 marks. This time they have asked for 80 marks. More or less weightage is same. But most of the questions are formula based, and only one question was derivation. And first question was finding potential due to the finite long line. That is little difficult question, but it was solved. Similar questions were solved in the conventional classes nicely, so students can easily answer that. And coming to the other question, derivation of the capacitance of dielectric capacitor by changing the epsilon naught. That is also formula based, and that formula discussed in the classwork. And another question was transmission lines. The input impedance of the transmission line when load is open and the load is short circuit, that is also directly formula based, nicely discussed in the classes. And another question, in waveguides, what is the maximum power carried by the rectangle waveguide? That is also directly formula based question. And finally they asked one question in the antenna theory, that is the calculation of the directivity by giving the radiation intensity. And all the questions were formula based and they can easily score, because generally students were a little uncomfortable in the EM theory. But this time all were formula based, and students who attended METG classes, they can easily answer all the questions.
Advanced electronics, which comprises of the Vlsi Design, microprocessors and signal system. And signal system is being taught by the Mr. Vishnu Shankar and also by Rohit Tripathi, and we have Mr. Naveen Kumar. Rohit Tripathi, signal system, 30 marks this year. What is your opinion?
So this year mainly focus on discrete part, and last year again it was focused on discrete part. And as compared to last year, level of difficulty is moderate. So those who have attended MEDG classes, regular classes, mains classes, or also attended mains test series, they can score very easily. And one question was from discrete time LTI system, and one was from basic system properties of discrete system, and one was from digital filter structure. So they have been covered in mains classes also. And one question from discrete time system, it has been covered in main test series also. So those who have attended classes, they can easily do.
Right. Microprocessor was not asked last year in 2018, but this year 20 marks. And Vlsi Design last year 65, this year 30. What is the combination? How do you describe this?
Coming to microprocessor, the questions of microprocessor and CO, computer fundamentals, organized computer organization, are very close. So some certain questions are mixed up. So the questions are asked in CO as well as in microprocessor. That's why the weightage is dwindling.
Right.
So this time microprocessor, he has two questions. One is DMA, straightforward, directly it's made easy material as well as class notes. And one more question on interrupts. Both are taught in the class. So the microprocessors was fairly simple. Two tricky questions were asked in microprocessor for 20 marks. They're not very complicated, but for that they should know the basics. So these are actually taught in microprocessors as well as in computer organization.
Right.
So the questions were overlapping for 20 marks.
Right.
So that's about microprocessor. And coming to Vlsi Design, the Vlsi Design has internally three components: the finite state machines, IC fabrication, and the PLA and MUX design. And he asked 10, 10, 10 from each topic. He asked 10 marks each, 10 marks each, and 10 marks each. From IC
Evenly distributed
from all the three subtopics of VLSI. So from IC fabrication, he asked photolithography, straightforward, taught in class, and from finite state machines, he asked the Mealy to Murray conversion. That's also taught in class. We gave in the test series. It's a workbook question as well. And PLA, we have taught it again. And this PLA question is a same question asked in last year civil services, electrical optional. So he asked the same question again. Repeat in engineering search this year. So that's
right.
it.
So microprocessor being taught by the Rajarao Sastry and BJ Vijay Kumar. And now coming to the subject of advanced communication, which was added 3 years back in 2017. Last year also 100 marks questions. This year also 100 marks questions. The subject taught by the Urvashi Sangwan and also taught by the Mr. Naveen Kumar. And now we have the expert with us, Mr. Srinivas. So Srinivas, comment on it.
Yeah, this is the new topic added in new syllabus after 2017. Though some topics are presenting before 2017, like optical and satellite communication, only some basic topics have been covered at that time. But when it coming to the new syllabus, there are 4 topics in the advanced communication. One is based on computer networks, and one is optical communication, and there is satellite communication, and finally cellular communication. Undoubtedly, in 2018 and 2019, the toughness level of the paper is going to be decided by absolutely advanced communication systems. Because as this is the new topic from the 2017, there are many questions every year coming as a surprise to the students, especially coming to the 2017. From 2017 it is added. In 2017, very tough question has been given in cellular communication system, but they have not given any question in 2018 from cellular communication. And this year they have given 20 marks from cellular communication, and one is from Doppler shift, and another is from cellular basics, which is very easy for every student. And a Doppler shift has been taught in the class, and we have covered quite 2 or 3 basic questions on Doppler shift, which is very useful to solve this question. And coming to the satellite, before 2016 they used to give very simple questions on link design, and they continue the same trend in 2017 and 2018. But in 2018, completely against to the spirit of the examination, they have given a question on FCC standards, which is completely unacceptable to give this type of questions in the examination, because we never expect that student will by heart the FCC standards. So, and another 10 marks they have given on noise equivalent temperature, but they have not given the data. They missed one line in the question. If you compare with the standard textbook questions, they have missed one line. Actually, they have to ask a question that LNA is connected to a receiver which has some noise equivalent temperature, and they have to ask what is the overall noise equivalent temperature at the input of the LNA. But they have not given any information about that receiver part. So students who have partially attempted this question will definitely get full marks of 10 marks if they contest the question through UPSC website. And coming to the optical communication portion, they have asked one surprise question on lateral offset insertion loss due to lateral offsetting of the fiber joints. So which is not generally expected that this type of odd formulas which are completely related to the industrial applications will be by-hearted by the students and solved by them in the real-time examination. So though it is very only for 10 marks, but this is given in the compulsory portion, that is in question number 1. So it is little bit difficult to the students, and I don't think that they can solve easily in the real-time examination. And 120 marks question they have given on intermodal dispersion, which is very easy, and straight away this is many times given in the test series, and similar question and some numericals on the intermodal dispersion. And this is also been taught in the class, and majority students will do it very easily. And this is placed in question number 8, and rest of the parts in question number 8 also very easy. One is from signals and system, and another is from waveguides in EMTL. So students will do it very easily, and this easy question in advanced communication will help them to choose the question number 8. And I am expecting that more than 99% of the students have definitely attempted question number 8 because of this easiness in advanced communication of this portion. And coming to the computer networks, they have again surprisingly given 2 questions. One is from routing table of distance routing algorithm, and another is from checksum calculation. So again 2017 they have not given any question in computer networks, and they have given 40 marks weightage in 2017, but though very easy, and some is in theoretical nature. So students may not expect that they will ask questions from routing table and checksum calculation. Though they are very easy, as students won't expect that this will come in the examination, this might be a little bit difficult to attempt. So my overall conclusion about advanced communication in 2019 is that compared to 2019 questions are little bit difficult and on unexpected side. So I am thinking that may not continue next year, because they will definitely shift the areas of asking questions. So, but my conclusion is that this is the only area in paper 2 which made the difficult for students, not attempting more than 250. Otherwise 250 everyone will attempt.
Right. Computer organization and computer fundamentals being taught by the Mr. Subba Reddy and Mr. P. Sagar, but they are not present. And this year 70 marks questions as compared to the last year 80 marks questions. And what I believe that ultimately performance depends on your judicious selection of the questions. There is a lot of mixing, one question, one area, another question from the second area, and every question has the subsections, and you have to give a very judicious selection. Then the second part comes how precisely you answer. What is important, you have to answer the things which have been asked. Normally students, they write what they know, but we do not care what has been asked. You have to go through the question, what is the question demanding. Accordingly, you have to put forward your answer. And also you have to see the weightage of the question. Whether it is a 10 marks, 5 marks or 15 marks or 20 marks questions, the answers have to be accordingly framed. Because many students, they fall short of the time because they have invested a lot of time in the less weightage questions. So this is something which makes important for you to practice. And for practice, there is no better solution than the test series of MEDG. MEDG comes out with the full-fledged test series for the prelims and for the mains examination, and where the questions are being set and framed by the experts. And this expert team includes the MEDG faculty team also and the other expert members. So we provide the guidance for the classroom courses, postal courses, online courses, and for the prelims and mains and interview stages all. Right? If you want any support, whether it is a GATE examination or engineering services, or it may be civil services examination. Electronics students who are preparing for the civil services with the electrical engineering optionals, they can take the support from us for any area which you have missed during your studies or you want the support. General studies or essay paper also from the next IES. It is an exclusive guidance and support for the civil services. As I told in the beginning, once your result will be declared, you are expecting your interview call. That the next stage preparation is the interview preparation. And interview is something which is the do and die stage. Once you are not able to perform properly, you are going to lose that, basically the chance of selection. So don't take any risk. Even though you are working, you find some time for the preparation. And if you want any support from MEDG, an interview program from MEDG is available for you. We have the complete comprehensive package. You can take the technical classes, current affairs classes, personality development, mock interview, one-to-one support, discussion on your weaknesses, and that will make an impact during the performance in the examination. So interview preparation will begin just after the result will be declared. But for those students who are weak in the communication, they are not able to express their views, they are not able to answer, for them we are starting a separate module of a skill improvement program from the mid of July, and you can attend these classes, improve your speaking skills, communication skills, interpersonal skills, and definitely you can take an edge over the others. So this is what today's in the analysis. MEDG is a one-stop solution for the engineers. If you want any support, stay tuned. Thank you very much.